The Last Knights Templar, the untold story of betrayal, torture, and the fall of the Sacred Order. Welcome to Tales Labyrinth, your gateway to the forgotten corridors of history. Today we journey into one of medieval Europe's darkest chapters as we uncover the untold story of the Last Knights Templar. This is the tale of betrayal, torture, and the fall of the Sacred Order. Stay with us until the end to discover how faith and courage faced their ultimate test. First, the rise of the sacred warriors. In the year 1119, beneath Jerusalem's scorching sun, 9 French knights took sacred vows that would change history forever. These warrior monks pledged their lives to protect Christian pilgrims traveling the treacherous roads to the Holy Land. The founder, Hugues de Payan, gathered his companions in the ancient halls of Solomon's Temple. Their mission was blessed by King Baldwin II, who granted them quarters in the temple complex itself. Dressed in simple white mantles marked with red crosses, these knights embodied a revolutionary concept. They combined the discipline of monastic life with the martial prowess of seasoned warriors. The order grew rapidly as nobles across Europe sent their sons to join this sacred brotherhood. Within decades, the poor fellow soldiers of Christ became the most formidable military force in Christendom. Their fortress monasteries dotted the landscape from Scotland to the deserts of Outremer. Inside these imposing stone walls, knights practiced swordsmanship while reciting prayers in Latin. The Templars developed sophisticated financial systems, establishing Europe's first international banking network. Kings and merchants alike entrusted their gold to these warrior monks whose word was considered unbreakable. By the late 13th century, the order controlled vast estates, commanded fleets of ships, and wielded political influence rivaling monarchs. Yet this very success would plant the seeds of their spectacular downfall. Second, the king's conspiracy and Black Friday. Philip IV of France sat upon his throne in Paris, his calculating eyes fixed on a kingdom drowning in debt. The expensive wars he waged had emptied the royal treasury, and the Templars' legendary wealth haunted his sleepless nights. In the shadows of the royal palace, Philip consulted with his ruthless advisor Guillaume de Nogaret. Together, they crafted a conspiracy so audacious that it would require the cooperation of the Pope himself. Philip spread whispers throughout his court, planting seeds of doubt about the Templars' secret rituals. He claimed these holy warriors practiced heresy behind their fortress walls, worshipping false idols and denying Christ. Pope Clement V, installed in Avignon under French influence, found himself trapped between truth and political pressure. The king demanded action, threatening to expose papal weaknesses if his will was not obeyed. On the morning of Friday, October 13, 1307, darkness fell upon the Templar order like a thunderbolt from hell. Across France, royal soldiers moved simultaneously, executing sealed orders they had received the previous night. Jacques de Molay, the Grand Master, was awakened in his Paris commandery by armed men. The venerable warrior, aged and battle-scarred, faced arrest with the dignity befitting his station. Throughout the kingdom, Templar knights were seized from their beds, their protests falling on deaf ears. In a single coordinated sweep, Philip captured thousands of men who had dedicated their lives to defending Christendom. Third, the chambers of agony and forced confessions. Deep beneath royal fortresses, the Templars discovered that medieval justice knew no mercy for the accused. Stone cells, damp with moisture and reeking of human suffering, became their new reality. The torturers, employed by Philip's inquisitors, wielded instruments designed to break both body and spirit. Iron maidens lined the walls alongside racks, thumbscrews, and braziers glowing red with heated implements. Knights were stretched upon wooden frames until their joints separated with sickening sounds. The screams echoing through vaulted chambers would haunt the guards for the remainder of their days. Geoffrey de Charny, preceptor of Normandy, endured the strappado, his arms wrenched behind his back as he hung from ceiling chains. Despite the agony, he maintained his innocence, reciting prayers through gritted teeth. Many knights, unable to withstand the relentless torture, signed confessions admitting to false crimes. They agreed to charges of spitting on the cross, worshipping a mysterious head called Baphomet, and engaging in obscene rituals. The inquisitors recorded every forced admission in meticulous Latin script, creating documents that would justify the order's destruction. Yet those who studied the testimonies noted the contradictions and impossibilities that pervaded these tortured confessions. Some Templars died in the dungeons, their broken bodies a testament to Philip's ruthless determination. Others survived, bearing scars and missing digits, forever marked by their ordeal in the chambers of agony. Fourth, the trial before Pope and kings. In the year 1309, Pope Clement V convened a papal commission to investigate the accusations against the Templars. The proceedings took place in Paris, where political pressure from Philip's court hung heavy in the air. Jacques de Molay was brought before the commission, his once powerful frame weakened by 2 years of imprisonment. He recanted his earlier confession, declaring it had been extracted through unbearable torture and fear of death. The Grand Master's voice rang through the chamber as he proclaimed the order's innocence before God and man. His courage inspired other imprisoned knights who also appeared to retract their forced admissions. Witnesses from across Christendom testified, with many defending the Templars' honor and charitable works. Yet Philip's agents ensured that damning testimonies obtained through torture dominated the official records. The Council of Vienne convened in 1311, gathering bishops and cardinals to determine the order's fate. Pope Clement, though privately sympathetic to the Templars, bowed to French pressure and political necessity. On March 22, 1312, the papal bull Vox in Excelso officially dissolved the Order of the Knights Templar. 2 centuries of service, sacrifice, and sacred dedication ended not in battle, but through political machination. The Templars' properties were transferred to the Knights Hospitaller, though Philip ensured France retained much of the wealth. Across Europe, Templar knights found themselves homeless, their identities stripped away by ecclesiastical decree. Fifth, the final flames and eternal legacy. On March 18, 1314, a wooden scaffold was erected on the Ile de la Cité in the heart of Paris. Jacques de Molay and Geoffrey de Charnay were led to the platform where flames would consume their mortal forms. The Grand Master, now an elderly man bearing the marks of 7 years' imprisonment, stood tall before the gathered crowd. As the executioners prepared the pyre, he raised his voice in a final proclamation that would echo through centuries. De Molay declared the order's innocence before God and called upon divine justice to judge his persecutors. According to witnesses, he summoned both King Philip and Pope Clement to appear before God's throne within a year. The flames rose around the 2 Templars as they continued praying, refusing to renounce their sacred brotherhood. The crowd watched in silence, many moved by the knights' courage in facing death with unwavering dignity. Remarkably, both Pope Clement V and King Philip IV died within months, fulfilling the Grand Master's prophecy. This coincidence fueled legends that would transform the Templars into figures of mystery and esoteric knowledge. The legacy of the Knights Templar lived on in secret societies, literature, and historical fascination across the ages. Their story became a symbol of how power, greed, and fear could destroy even the most sacred institutions. In the dungeons and flames of medieval France, the last knights demonstrated that true courage transcends physical torture. Their faith, whether justified or misplaced, proved stronger than iron chains and burning pyres combined. The story of the last Knights Templar reveals how political ambition and religious authority could combine to destroy even the mightiest of institutions. Through betrayal, torture, and ultimately martyrdom, these warrior monks faced their darkest hour with a courage that continues to inspire us today. Their legacy reminds us that history's greatest tragedies often arise from the collision of faith, power, and greed. If this journey through medieval history has moved you, please support Tales Labyrinth by liking this video, sharing your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribing to our channel for more untold stories from the corridors of time. Join our community of history enthusiasts as we continue exploring the forgotten chapters that shaped our world. Until our next adventure into the past, remember that the echoes of history still speak to those willing to listen.